In this podcast, I am going to share with you an experience I had when I was younger that helped me to get over jealousy, to get over envy. I was in seventh grade, and no, actually, I was in eighth grade. I was in eighth grade. I had just been placed in eighth grade, and this was an accelerated class. So everybody in this class was all wrapped up in their scores. They were like, what did you get on your math score? And what did you get on your reading score? And so it was like what everybody's reading and math scores were in this classroom was common knowledge. So the people who had the highest reading and math scores and the people who had the lowest reading and math scores were known. It was like they were topics in this class. So, and the guy with the highest reading and math score, it was a guy, and the person with the lowest reading and math score was a girl. So, the gossip was in this classroom that the reason the girl who was rumored, rumored, because I didn't see her scores. Let me straighten that up right now. The girl who was rumored to have the lowest reading and math scores was allegedly um, like the goddaughter of the instructor or something like that. Like her parents were friends with the instructor, and that was the only reason why she was allowed to be in the class. So a few people felt some type of way about that. They was like, no, I worked my butt off. I'm smart to get in this class. And, how does she get a chance to get in this class? So it was rumored that she was having some type of tutoring or something, special attention and courses and help and stuff to try to bring her up to speed with everybody in the class. And the purpose and the reason for doing this is because this particular instructor was just, oh my God, she was a die hard instructor. And I'm gonna be quite honest with you. For all of these years since eighth grade, I had still been really had a bone to pick with that instructor and still had been upset with that instructor because of a decision that she made based upon some misinformation from my mother, which drastically altered, my path, and I didn't become okay with that until I bumped into someone who knew her, this instructor, and they said, yes, it wasn't you, it was her. It was like, yeah, she was hell on wheels. So she practically ran the school. Whatever she wanted, she got it. And that was common knowledge in the school and out the school in the community. So anywho, she wanted this young lady in the class. And, that was her favorite. She let her do everything. She was always the first choice and the first pick for everything. She was the captain of the cheerleader team, and she was Miss Popularity. Everybody knew her, and I used to sit there, sometimes and think, how is it that she's got the lowest scores in the damn classroom, but she's the most popular person in this whole damn school? And I didn't like that. I was bothered. I was bothered. I was really bothered. And see, I wanted to tell the teacher some things. I really did, but I never did. I really did because she used to put so much pressure on us to score high, have us doing all these different puzzles and logic and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what the hell are we doing this for? But anywho, the whole, purpose of that classroom, the whole thing that was important to that teacher was getting all of her students into some of the top high schools in Chicago. So me, I was supposed to go to Whitney Young. Then there were some other people who didn't test well enough to go into Whitney Young. So it was Lynn Bloom was one of the schools. And to be quite honest with you, I can't remember all the other schools, but because the only thing I was concerned about was Whitney Young. Once she said that, I was going to Whitney Young, I didn't care about nothing else. I was like, yes, you know. But of course, as we know, things happened and that I never made it to Whitney Young. So I guess God had other plans. So, anywho, this young this young cheerleader, Miss Popularity, there was a lot of rumors, going around about her. And see, that's the thing about being popular. When you're popular and you're in the spotlight, everybody's watching you, you can't do nothing. Anytime you go outside, they looking, they want to see what you're wearing, they want to see what your hair look like, they want to see who you with. I'm finna tell you right now, as for me, hey, you might see me outside with a little baseball cap on or whatever. I don't worry about who's gonna be looking at me if I'm going to the store or whatever. I'm not dressing to impress to run the Family Dollar. So, anywho, Miss Popularity had a rumor about her that she was in a relationship with an abusive guy. And it was, we were young or whatever, but I still was like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. No, not her, because this is how I viewed this young lady. And then let me add, she was the shortest person in the classroom. She was only about, now, you know what? It was one other person that was shorter than her. She was only about like 4'9" or something. I might have this was what, seventh grade. She might have been shorter than that. I don't know. But she was short. She was almost the shortest person. There was one person shorter than her. And of course, she was smaller and I was bigger. I've been big since like fifth grade, on the plump side. And she had real long hair. I'm not talking about weave because when I was in school, seventh, eighth grade, 92, 93, the seventh and eighth graders were not wearing weave. Okay. So she said it had all natural hair and it was so long and it was real pretty. And the rumor was that she was some type of Cherokee Indian black mix or some stuff, whatever. I don't know. But I think my envy of her and my jealousy of her came from this image that she had developed of having everything, of being loved and accepted by everybody. That's the picture that I had of her. That's what it looked like to me from the way, everybody was giving her attention and gathered all around her, which, by the way, I never really wanted attention. I've never been like an attention seeker, but it just seemed like from the outside that her life was so perfect, that things were so easy for her. And then more and more I heard rumors. And like I said, I never believed them. And one day I went to the corner store and she hadn't been to school in a few days. And they said that she hadn't been to school because her boyfriend had blacked her eye again. And I was like, what? What? I know he didn't. What? That can't be true. I would not believe it. I was like, no, no, she not getting beat up. She too pretty to get beat up. She too smart to get beat up. She's too liked to get beat up. She's too loved to get beat up. She's too popular to get beat up. Oh, I know. That's what was going on in my mind. I refused to believe that this chick was getting beat up. For some reason, I saw her as being more, you know what I'm saying, more than human or something, had some type of special powers. I don't know what it was. But I'm glad that I went through it early and I learned and I got through it and I never had that problem again. So I ran into her at the corner store and I saw that she had a black eye. And she looked at me, like real briefly, and she turned away real fast. She was ashamed. She was embarrassed. Her boyfriend had blacked her damn eye. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. everything that I thought about her, it was over. It just came crumbling down. She wasn't this great, special, truly admired and loved person with high self esteem who had it all together and everything was perfect for her. That was all some bullshit that I had made up in my mind out of my own insecurities about myself. I couldn't believe it. But you know what? It hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was happy, but I was sad at the same time. See, I was happy because I was freed from that envy and that jealousy. But then I was sad because she was getting her butt whooped. But what I realized that day is that you can't be jealous of anybody else. And you shouldn't be envious of anybody else because you never know the full story. You never see every single thing that a person is going through or has gone through to get to the place where they are today. And there's a sermon by T.D. Jakes that says, oh, you want some of this power? You're going to have to get some of this pain. And I've said this to people and realizing and seeing their jealousy and their envy. You're envy of the end result. Well, why aren't you envying the pain, the heartache, and the struggle that that person went through to get there? When you look at all of that and you see the big picture, it should be easy for you to see and to understand that there is no need for jealousy because everybody has their own issues and their own struggles and their own pain that they have to get through, that they're going through. Nobody has sunshine all the time, and you don't know what their pain is like for them. You might look at their pain and try to compare it, but you can't compare pain because everybody deals with pain differently and on different levels. You might see somebody going through something and it looks like it's easy for them. It ain't nothing. But how can you really know the emotional and mental state that somebody else is in? And how do you measure and compare that to your own? You can't. You can't. And see, this is why so many people commit suicide and then everybody is shocked. Everybody don't know what happened. They never saw it coming. Because you can't look at the outside of somebody and see how much pain they're in and see that they are really being overcome by all of the pressure that they're going through. And I really wish that I could get my lesbian sister to understand that. I really wish I could get her to get over the envy and the jealousy that she holds in her heart. I wish. But see, you can't make people grow. You can't make people learn. That's something that you have to want to do. Then you have to make the effort to do it. So that day I learned about jealousy and envy. That was the first person I was ever jealous of. And whether you believe it or not, that was the last person I was ever jealous of. That was it. It was hell. Hell. Pure D hell. To look at her and to see her and to think that she had something which was unattainable to me. That she was being given and offered something that I would never be given or offered. That was hell. And it was a hell and a torture that I inflicted upon myself with my own twisted and distorted views. But see, the thing about that is, I was a little kid. I was a little girl. This was seventh, eighth grade. And some of you grown people, grown, are still suffering and dealing with the same issues right now at 40 and 50 years old. You have to force yourself to grow.